My father smelled like bleach every night when he came home. He'd sit at the kitchen table, pull off his boots, and I'd bring him a glass of water without being asked. That was our routine. Me, him, and a one-bedroom apartment on the third floor of a building he cleaned for a living. He never complained. Not once. But I watched him. I watched the way his knees swelled up by Thursday. The way he winced climbing the stairs he just mopped. I was 9 years old and I already knew something was wrong with his body, and I already knew I wanted to fix it. My mother left when I was 6. I don't say that for sympathy. I say it because my father raised me alone on a janitor's salary, and he still managed to put a set of encyclopedias on my shelf and tell me to read every single one of them. I got into a magnet school in 8th grade. My father took a second job on weekends cleaning offices to cover the bus fare and the supply fees. He never told me that was why he took it. My aunt told me years later. High school was where people started telling me to be realistic. A guidance counselor once suggested I look into medical billing instead of medical school. I nodded and walked out of her office and signed up for AP Biology, AP Chemistry, and AP Calculus all in the same semester. I nearly broke under the weight of it. But I didn't break. I got a full scholarship to a state university. The day I got the acceptance letter, my father sat at that same kitchen table and cried. He didn't make a sound. He just put his face in his hands and his shoulders shook, and I stood there not knowing what to do, so I put my hand on his back and left it there. Medical school was the hardest thing I have ever done. I failed my first anatomy practical. I failed it badly. I sat in a bathroom stall for 20 minutes thinking about quitting, about how maybe the guidance counselor was right, about how maybe I was fooling myself. Then I thought about my father's knees. I got up, washed my face, and went back to the cadaver lab. I passed boards on my first attempt. I matched into general surgery. The day I found out, I called my father and he said, "I knew." Just that. 2 words. I knew. My father's knees eventually got bad enough that he needed bilateral knee replacement surgery. I was a third-year resident when it happened. I wasn't his surgeon €. Conflict of interest, different hospital €. But I was in the room. I held his hand before they wheeled him in, and I was there when he woke up. He looked at me through the anesthesia fog and said, "You're wearing scrubs." I said, "I am, Dad." He smiled and closed his eyes and went back to sleep. He walks without pain now. He's retired. He lives with me. Sometimes he still smells like bleach. Old habit, he says €. He still cleans the kitchen at midnight when he can't sleep. I don't stop him. It's his way of feeling useful, and I understand that better than anyone. I became a surgeon because of a man who mopped floors. I want that on record.